I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This has been a tremendous week for our movement. We won big. And now we're just days away from officially clinching the Republican nomination for President of the United States. Supporters whose hard work and devotion have led us to this incredible moment in history. This is a movement the likes of which society has never seen. To all Americans, whether you are a Republican, an independent, or a disillusioned Democrat, all you have to do is watch that horrible State of the Union. It was the worst president in history, making the worst State of the Union speech in history. But if you're a disillusioned Democrat, of which there are many today, I extend an open hand, an open invitation, and I ask you to join us in the presidency. What a presidency, what a president. Most incompetent president we've ever had. The worst president, the most incompetent, and the most corrupt. Other than that, I think he's doing actually quite a good job. And we will make America great again. Dark April rant of a State of the Union address was intended to bring us together, bring the country together. He's a threat to democracy. I will tell you, he's a threat to democracy. Weaponized government, weaponized the FBI, weaponized the DOJ. He's a threat to democracy for other reasons also. Number one, he's grossly incompetent. Joe Biden gave the most divisive, partisan, radical, and extreme speech ever delivered by a president in that chamber.
That's right.
Rather than trying to bring our country together, he tried to cling to power by tearing our country apart. He's done nothing. You know what the whole thing is going to be? Go after Trump. Go on. We have no policy. We didn't do anything. Everything we did turned out so badly. Go after Trump. And we're ready for it. We ready? About Ukraine, before he talked about America, he talked about the size of a Snickers bar. You know? It's probably true about Snickers, they throw a little bit less in. I probably do the same thing in my own particular country. But can I be honest? Who the hell cares about that? That's not what the problem is. You don't talk about Snickers, you talk about inflation, big league inflation. You talk about the fact that we're no longer energy independent, we're going to be energy dominant. You talk about bigger things. You talk about the whole country as opposed to the kind of things he took. I think he took 41 minutes before he got to the border, and then he covered it almost not at all. The border is the biggest problem. I think it's one of the biggest problems, the greatest threat. It took him 41 minutes, and then he announced a plan to send our brave U.S. military men and women into Gaza to resupply the terrorists. He wants to build billions and billions of dollars a pier next year. But way into what happened to the environmental impact statement? This time I want to build a pier they tie up forever, right? There's no tying up. But here's the problem. The bad guys will take over that pier, they'll take every ounce of food and everything else, and then they'll sell it to people that have no money that it was intended for. We have the stupidest people. You know, there's some words that just say, this is stupid people. Joe Biden should not be shouting angrily at America. America should be shouting angrily at Joe Biden. the documents hoax. How about that? He's not competent to stand trial, but he's allowed to be the president. Okay? We don't think he should be standing trial because he's not competent. But as far as being president, that's okay. But figure that one out. I think we'll be taking that one on the campaign trail a little bit. With your vote, we are going to win the state of Georgia in an epic landslide. I've done it twice. We did great the first time, 2016. We did much better in the second time. But there's never been the spirit that I've seen this time. 2016 was great, 2020 was better, the spirit. But this blows us away. We came in from the airport, we're 15 minutes away. The lines of people standing along the streets coming up to this. Sunrises on a brand new day for Georgia and for America. Divisive and angry speech. So angry.
Yep.
Our great first lady said, I think he's very angry. And what he's doing. Screaming, and then coughing. And he's always using the right hand. He shakes his hand. Then he gets off the stage, and you notice nobody wanted to shake his hand. I'm very American, but I don't know about all I was always coughing into his hand, and it's not a real cough, it's a nervous habit. It's got to stop. It's a real cough, it just goes. And then you turn to fake news CNN. It's my fault, I waited too long, I got to hit him fast. And they'll say, the speech was brilliant, not just FDR. You know, FDR was very beautiful, tone, beautiful. He brought in a very patrician area, to put it mildly. Very rich, very patrician, beautiful accent, beautiful words. He was a great speaker. And they said, not just FDR. As a speech, that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, you take a look at MSNBC, how evil they are, they're evil.
Right.
They shouldn't be allowed to do what they do because it's so good.
Yeah, you're right, you're right.
And to think that I had the apprentice on NBC and I did so great for them. I said before the
Never again.
Before the start of the year, I said, well, one thing for sure, I did so much, I made so much money for NBC. They hadn't had a #1 show in years. They were dying. And that idiot Jeff Zucker was running it poorly. He was running it to the ground. And I came on and I gave them ratings that they haven't had in years. And when I said, I'm going to leave the show now, they wanted me to extend. They said they got other shows and what happened is, I said, no, I'm going to leave because, well, you quiet when you hear this. This is part of the repertoire. You haven't heard this one. You have quiet. It's almost like when I do the steak. It's very quiet. It's so you can hear a pin drop. I said, one thing that's going to happen. I decide to leave the show and they wanted me to extend, they were offering me 3 years, anything I wanted, I said, no, I'm going to run for president. Don't forget, we did it for 14 seasons, that's enough, right? I said, it's hard to give up prime time. And a lot of money, no matter how rich, it's a lot of money you make. But you give up prime time television, Thursday nights. It was a hard thing to do, but I said, no, I'm going to run for president. And they were so upset. And they said, no, no, no. And I decided to do it. And they said, who do you think we should use? I said, I have no idea. That's your business, not mine. And they said, what do you think of Arnold Schwarzenegger? I said, hey, he's a movie star. Maybe he'll do well. That guy got killed. He couldn't get anything. You know, flies watch. Flies. And the show was canceled. Remember they tried Martha Stewart too. How did that work out? She blamed me. She said, it's your fault that she failed. I said, why? She couldn't tell us a lot. She never figured it out. But they used her, but they used Arnold Schwarzenegger, big movie star. And he failed so badly. Actually, they asked me, because I got work with Martin, that's great. They said, well, you voted so you would like to have it do well. I said, I would. They said, would you rather have it do unbelievably with our big movie star comes in, Arnold Schwarzenegger, or would you rather have it fail? I thought about it for a little while, and I said, honestly, I'd much rather have it fail, because it makes me get better. I'm not looking for him to come in the top. It worked out this time, he failed, it was like a total disaster. But I did it for 14 seasons, and I said to NBC, and you know, I respect you guys, I like them. I mean, I like them, but the bosses came up, they tried to talk me. 5 guys came up, and they wanted to talk me. They called me suits, but the top suits, the top. And I just didn't like to start to run for president. But you know, you won't win. It's impossible to win. Nobody's ever done that before. There's never been a person that ran for president that wasn't either a politician or a general. I think it's 92% of politicians and 8% were generals. Did anybody know these little facts? These little facts of wisdom? So you had to be a general, I guess an admiral and all, but there were no admirals. 8% generals and 92, think of that, 92% politicians. I said, I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. I'm going to give it a shot. And I announced and immediately went to number 1 and stayed there for a long time. Remember, I had center of stage. And then I got angry because I said, no, I want to be in the center. I want to be tied to the center. Those guys don't come close. So we had to have a different number, so it didn't have to be 10, it had to be 9, or it had to be 11, it had to be something. But it couldn't be an even number. And they got angry and they said, no, I'm not going to do it. So then they ended up doing what I said. But right from the beginning it worked, and then I got on television and they asked me that horrible question, remember? I said, oh my God, that's the first question I ever got. Megyn Kelly. May she rest in peace. She's sort of making a career by pretending she likes me.
Wow.
And then, so what happened is she asked me a question about women. Women love me. You know, I protect women. I protect them. They talk about suburban housewives. And look at that. These are suburban housewives from North Carolina. They followed me. This is their 117th rally. Okay? I mean, we're not so far, but you know, when they go out to Texas and California, there's like 40 of them, and they look great, but I don't think the husband's going to be too happy. Are your husbands happy about this? Are they okay? Yes. But it was an amazing phenomenon, and I do protect women. Look, they talk about suburban housewives. I believe I'm good. Well, you know, the polls were all rigged. Of course, lately they have been rigged because of Woody was so much. I love the polls, right? We're beating him by so much, but with the suburban, they always say suburban housewives. They want something that's very important, security. They don't want illegal immigrants coming into our country.
Right!
I'm saying, I'm going to use your kitchen. I'm going to use your bedroom, and there's not a damn thing. And that's the nice ones, okay? That's the nice ones. They want safety, they want security, and that's what I provide. I had the safest border in the history So we went out and we did it, and we went to #1 almost immediately, right? I think immediately. I think the first week or something was, I wasn't given credit because it was only one day of the week. So I said, oh, I didn't start doing this. You only give me credit for like half a day. I said, oh, it's okay. So let's see how to do it. We went to #1 immediately. From the day we came down that beautiful escalator in Trump Tower with our first lady, we love our first lady. We went to #1. We had to be, I don't call it crooked anymore. I use that term for Joe. Joe's crooked. I don't call Hillary anything. I don't even think about it anymore. But we went to #1, and then we weren't supposed to win the election, and that's what they hate me for, because I won an election that the Republicans weren't supposed to win.
That's right.
We weren't supposed to win that, but we wanted Jim Jordan to. Do we love Jim Jordan, by the way? Every day, Joe Biden is deliberately releasing gang members and military-aged men into our communities by the tens of thousands, knowing full well that his policies will cost countless innocent lives. I'm not sure he does know, if you want to know the truth. I really don't. I don't think he's a good person. I don't think he's a nice guy. I think he's a corrupt individual, but I don't think, and it has nothing to do with age. I know people from 80 to 90. I know one man from 80, he was a loser all his life. When he turned 80, he made $1 million doing something from 80 to 90. Amazing. And I know other people over 90. It's not an age thing, it's a confidence thing. It's a confidence thing. They do the age thing. And they always have to be this, I'm 4 years younger. So 4 years ago, but it doesn't matter. They do the age thing to try and get Trump. Let's get Trump. Always, they never talk about his competence. He's grossly incompetent, don't you understand? The question is whether or not he's going to get to the starting gate. I can only hope. I challenged him to a debate. And he's this person who's really a wonderful spokesman, his press secretary. How good is he? She actually didn't know what to say. But I do, and I challenge him right now. He's got another part of your state where he's really said some bad things today. And we'll get into that. He said some really bad things. But one of the lives that was taken from us was an incredible 22-year-old nursing student right here in Georgia, Laken Riley. From the time she was in the first grade, Laken's dream was to spend her life caring for others, and I met her beautiful mother and family backstage, her friends, some of her friends, a roommate. They said she was like, she was always the best. They admit that she was the best. She was first in the class, she was going to be the best nurse, she was the best nursing student. She was always the best. She was the brightest light in every room, they told me, and she was the whole world to her parents and to her sister, just to the whole family. Incredible. Then the unthinkable happened. 16 days ago, Laken went out for a morning job. She was in great shape. She wanted to keep herself that way. And she never came back. They knew something was wrong. An illegal alien criminal who Joe Biden intentionally released into our country has been, and because he's released tens of thousands of people like this, tens of thousands, because they come from jails, and they come from mental institutions. He released them into our country. Biden has implemented a formal policy that illegal aliens who intrude into the United States are granted immunity from deportation. Thus, when this monster showed up at our border, he was set free immediately under the program that Crooked Joe created. I call it free to kill. It's free to kill. On Thursday night, Joe Biden was confronted over this cruel policy. And what did Crooked Joe reply? Marjorie, I have to say, you were very brave in trying to bring it back. That's not easy to do, Marjorie. You never said that. He got Lincoln's name wrong, calling her Lincoln. Mixing her up with the football coach, right? He got the name wrong, Lincoln. And when he asked, what about all the legal citizens who kill people? That's what he said. What about all the legal citizens? What about all the legal? In other words, making excuses. Then just moments ago, I don't know if you heard because you've all been waiting in line for 2 days. But just moments ago, this was just before coming up. They just told me prior to what I'm doing right now, Joe Biden went on television and apologized for calling Lincoln's murder an illegal. He did not call it.
What? Wow.
He said he should have called it an undocumented, not.
You got us a joke. Wow.
He wanted to apologize. And
Poor Joe Biden.
How about apologize to family?
They have a new name that's even worse. They have a new name. You know what the new name is? Neighbor. They want to call him neighbor. They want to call him another name. Did you ever hear the other one? Newcomer. The newcomer to our country. Are we going crazy?
Yes!
Is this country going crazy?
Yes!
How about that one? Newcomer. The newcomer. Here's when I say he was an illegal alien, he was an illegal immigrant, he was an illegal migrant. Apologizing to this killer. Joe Biden, and you understand what's happening here. Joe Biden has no remorse, he's got no regret, no empathy, no compassion, or worse of all, he has no intention of stopping the deadly invasion that's so precious. Lincoln's beautiful American life. We are profoundly honored to be joined today by the family and loved ones of Lincoln and some of her great friends. I met them, they're so incredible. Our whole group is incredible. Americans and people worldwide, they're standing alongside of the other beautiful lives. We share your need. We share your need. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. I know how tough it is. It's so tough. We vow to keep Lincoln's memory alive for as long as we are here on this earth, and we take comfort that she is now home with God in heaven, and I want to thank you and thank you for what Joe Biden has done on our border is a crime against humanity and the people of this nation for which you will never be forgiven. It's a very hard thing. We're going to fix it. We're going to fix it fast. We're going to have the largest deportation in this country. Lincoln Riley is alive today. Joe Biden has not willfully and maliciously eviscerated the borders of the United States and set loose thousands and thousands of dangerous criminals into our country. To her family tonight, I promise you I will demand justice for Lincoln. I will fight like no one has ever fought before to ensure that what happened to this American daughter, this incredible, incredible American, that this never happens to any other daughter or anyone else And again, we will do everything. And we know, because unfortunately we have so many people allowed into our country that shouldn't be. We're going to get it down to a trickle. We're not going to let this go on. Our country is being destroyed by an incompetent president, and we're not gonna let this happen. But the good thing about his speech, if you want to know his rant the other night, probably did well enough that he's not going to be replaced on the ballot because they were talking about replacing. And I said, you know, he got through it barely, but he got through it. I think he's constantly going to make it good before the years. I sort of didn't think, I guess maybe I still don't think. I mean, when that's the best that a party can do, we're in big trouble.
Yeah.
You know, they always talk about, it's so interesting, I watch these criminals back there being pressed. Look at I always say they should endorse me because I'm the best thing that ever happened to that radio. But I say it all the time, I say, we have to have a free press, we have to have an honest press in this country. They're like the police, we need our police, we need an honest press, we need free and fair elections. We don't have free and fair elections, we have very corrupt elections, and we need borders.
Yes.
We have the safest border in the history of our country, now we have the most unsafe border in the history of the world. But we need a free and fair press. And they're totally wise to you. You know, the people are wise to these people. And I'm not saying all of them. I'd say about 94.2%. And he's saying to all Americans, I will seal the border. I'm going to do it. And I will stop this invasion. I'm going to do it. I will stop the killing. I will stop the bloodshed. You know, we have China, we have Russia, we have Kim Jong-un, we have all sorts of countries out there. But if you have a really capable president like me, you know, but the real problem is not from them. A competent president can handle it. You can say, really, you can do that, that's we're going to tariff the hell out of you, we can do that. Believe me, I had all the good shit. You were never in any trouble. Kim Jong-un was a tough guy. But we had a great relationship. You know, they hate when they say that. You know why? Because you were Christian on nuclear weapons. And you know, you have Putin, you know, talking nuclear all the time, don't you? You know why? Because he knows you're an idiot as a president. But the biggest threat we have is the threat from within. It's the radical left lunatics that we have. But the bigger threat is from what we have inside. Remember I used to say, if we don't start changing, we're going to be Venezuela and steroids. That's what we're having. We're heading right to that. Remember Trump was right about everything. I don't want to be right about these things. You have to be careful too of World War III. I'm not going to let that happen. You're not going to have it. Right there, you're very close to a World War, this whole mess that we're in. When I left, we had no problem. Everybody was respecting us. They respected the president and they respected the country. We had no problem. Now we have problems all over the place. I had dinner last night with a great gentleman from Hungary, Prime Minister of Hungary, Viktor Orban. Some people don't know the universities and they're really learning too much. We said it again yesterday, actually, I appreciate it. It's very nice. It's good to be running for office, I guess. But he said that the problem with America is that he Trump back as president. With none of these problems, Israel would have been attacked. Ukraine and Russia would be fighting. I know very well there was no way he was going in. Putin would never have done that under any circumstances, but then they gave him added incentive. The things Biden said were the exact opposite things. They said, you know, he's going to talk this guy into going in. You listen to the way he talked, he had no idea what he was doing. And then you look at what happened to energy. Energy went up so high. Russia's one of the biggest in the world for energy. So they have now so much money to do. They wouldn't have had it at $40 a barrel. At $100 a barrel, they were making a fortune. The only one that could make a fortune doing the war. And that's what happened. This guy is a disaster, and he has to be taken out. You're going to end up, if he's not relieved of his office on November 5th, we have done one of the great disservices to humanity because he is not capable. Empty seat in years. Jim Jordan knows that. A long time ago, I did one in Ohio, and Jim said, man, it's like 10,000 people outside. That was the beginning, right, Jim? And we saved Whirlpool, and we saved some great companies up there, and now they're doing good. They had little problems, like they weren't allowed to have water going to their washing machines. You know. But we took care of it. We took care of the dumping. They were dumping from South Korea and from China. They were dumping washing machines, dryers, and we took care of it. And they love us up there. We love them. And they love this whole family. They love this whole family up there. But we have to straighten out our country. We have to do it fast. And we don't have that much time anymore. You know, even 7 months is a long time. We're waiting, and this is the end of 7 months. In other words, closer to 8 than it is to 7. And the destruction that they are doing to our country, this is a long time, this is a very risky period. This is the most dangerous period in the history of our country, in my opinion. It's the most dangerous, and that's because the nuclear weapons and other types of weapons that are so powerful, but nuclear weapons, one other types too, that is so powerful. This is no longer army tanks go back and forth shooting each other. This is a big step. And we have a man that is no true. If I said no, give me the definition of MAGA. It's Make America Great Again. We have to stop MAGA. We will stop MAGA. We will stop this. What does MAGA mean? I don't know. Let's stop that. That's what they're doing. They're stopping it. You know, they use their genius, because they are genius at cheating in elections and things, but they're not genius on policy or common sense. They have no common sense. But if they use their ability, their genius on making America great again, I probably would have done it. I probably would have done it. I wouldn't have to. I'd be now lounging at some beautiful beach, something like he does, but he does it during his presidency. Somebody said he looks great in a bathing suit. And you know, when he was in the stand and he was having a hard time lifting his feet in the stand, you understand the stand? If we get 3 solid ounces per foot, and he's sitting in the bathing suit. Look, at 81, you remember Cary Grant? How good was Cary Grant, right? I don't think Cary Grant, I don't know what happened to movie stars today. We used to have Cary Grant and Clark Gable and all these people today we have. I won't say names because I don't need enemies. I get rid of enemies. But Cary Grant was like, Michael Jackson once told me, the most handsome man in the world. Who? Cary Grant. No, we don't have that anymore. Cary Grant at 81 or 82, going on 100. This guy, he's 81 going on 100. Cary Grant would look too good in a bathing suit. And he was very good looking, right? He would. If this guy went to the beach and he enjoyed himself and he left our border policies alone, we're the strongest. We made it in Mexico, catching release in Mexico, building the wall, the Mexican army, 28,000 soldiers protecting our border. If he just left it alone, he could have stayed at the beach and everybody would have said, boy, is he looking good? But he doesn't look good. Somebody, he's got a consultant, you know, we all have consultants, but you have to think for yourself a little bit. And some consultants said, you know, I think the president would look good on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. You don't go to the beach. I don't think that looks good. Are the voters happy when they see a president walk over?
No.
Typically that's not a good look. You'd like to see a president who works for you. But if he would have left our policies in place, and our policies on energy, and I will say he brought that back because he was getting killed, so he let him drill more. But as soon as this election is over, should the unthinkable happen, he will stop all of the drilling. He's only doing it because he was getting absolutely killed, so he went back to the Trump drilling. But even at that, he gave up Anwar, the biggest site ever in the world, probably bigger than Saudi Arabia, something that's Anwar. So it's a shame what's happening to our country. It's so sad when I'm with people and we start talking about it, and they're from other countries. It's embarrassing. On day one of my new administration, I will terminate every open border policy of the Biden administration. To threaten and kill innocent Americans. Because what we just discussed is happening to many people. Many people. People are being killed every single day by these monsters. How about New York? They just put military on the subways. Because the illegals, as he refused to say, the migrants, were harming passengers. You think of it, you're going to work for years and years, you're an accountant, you're a lawyer, you're a doctor, you're a carpenter, you're going to work on the subways. And now they're like a military installation. And you know why? Because the migrants are hurting people. They talk about the beautiful dream of migrants. It sounds so nice, you know, like in a fairy tale book. But some of these people are monsters, a big percentage. If you go to El Salvador, Honduras, if you go to numerous other countries, but we're really talking all over the world. The other day from Africa, the Congo, they had numerous prisoners from the Congo. The good news is they all make our prisoners look like very nice people. Because our people are nice. Our prisoners are vicious, horrible people in many cases, in most cases perhaps. But you know what? When you look at the people that are being all over the world, they're emptying their prisons, they're emptying their mental institutions into the United States of America. What can be good about that? What? Is there any reason that that can be good? They're probably thinking they can vote, but they cheat, so they don't really have to do that. They can do it without it because they cheat so much. But what can be good about that? And how can that even be good politically? I think there's a movement. I think one of the reasons, I think you might be understanding. You had 4 great years. You had the greatest economy in history. You had 4 great years. I think you might be understanding. Let's say you might be understanding. You know, they always like to say, 2 very unpopular people are running. I'm not unpopular. 92 or 94% of the Republicans. They always like to equate me with this guy. 2 very unpopular people are running for office. Very unpopular. I said, why am I unpopular? I just knocked off 12 people in the quickest time that it's ever happened. In Iowa, in New Hampshire, in South Carolina, against the governor of South Carolina, in Nevada, every single state I ran in, we won by a margin that was a substantial record. In Iowa, we won by the highest margin in history times 2. We were double. In New Hampshire, I got the most votes in the history of the state of New Hampshire. Now think of this for a second. New Hampshire, and it's up there, you know, Kennedy territory, right? JFK ran. I got more votes than JFK. A lot of great people, historic people ran. And that's in either party. I got more votes than anybody in either party. In Nevada, I got unbelievable. We got 98% of the caucus votes. And then won the primary too, even though I wasn't running. I wasn't even running because it didn't equate to delegates, right? And then we go to other states, but we go to South Carolina, and against the popular, incompetent, but very nasty person, incompetent person, we won in a record, it wasn't even close. It wasn't even close. And then this beautiful, magnificent couple of states, which, by the way, we won, but then we had our 15 states, Super Tuesday. Every state was like in a record. I think in California it was close to 90%,
Yep.
90%.
Yep.
And 1% undecided. I said, who are the people that are undecided? 1%, they always have undecided, you know? And I have to say that because they'll say, oh, he doesn't fit well. It was 90 to 9. No, it was the people that decided for the fake news. You know, it's a problem. If I have fun and I want to be a little sarcastic, because I'm a somewhat sarcastic person, I have humor. You know why I have humor? Because if I didn't, and I'm looking at what this guy has done to our country, you have to have a little humor. But sometimes I'll imitate, because you know he can never find his way off the stage, you know.
Uh-oh.
He makes a speech and lasts for about 2.5 minutes. And then he always goes, you know, you ever notice the weird stuff? He goes, thank you. And he starts walking and they're waving to the others. And he goes around and doesn't know what the hell he's doing. He walks off the back of the stage where he goes there. No, I mean, you know, but here's the problem, whenever I imitate that, they put me on saying I couldn't get off. When I substitute Barack Hussein Obama, has anybody ever heard of Barack Hussein? He uses his name. I say, I'm President Barack Hussein Obama, meaning who's calling this country? Is that what I'm saying?
Yes. Yes.
The fake news is, he doesn't know the name of our president. He doesn't know it's nobody.
Okay, baby.
He must be cognitively impaired. You know what? When I am getting intelligent, I know my people just say, all right, Trump, you did a good job, get the hell out of here. That's it. These are very dishonest people. No, I told my wife, I said, baby, how was that? Just tell me. How good was I tonight? She watches it like, she loves it, right? She said, you were good, but it's a little embarrassing. They show you couldn't find the stairs on the street. Because it's almost impossible. These things, in this case, we only have 4 stairs. It's a small platform. I have one there, one here, one there. You have 3, and you can't find them, and they're right close. And they all work. The government must have built it because you got one platform and you have stairs. You can't mix things, purposely mix things. And purposely. In the State of the Union this week, Crooked Joe told a total fairy tale about the economy. But the fact is, under Biden, we have a 3-year inflation rate of almost 50%. Under me, you have no inflation. You have no inflation. Under Bidenomics, the United States has lost 284,000 good full-time jobs in the past year and replaced them with hundreds of thousands of part-time jobs and a lot of government jobs. It's not fair. I could do that too. Let's hire some more people. Make me look good. In addition, virtually 100% of all jobs created under Biden have gone to foreign-born workers. How do you feel about that? Good? And I'll tell you this. The biggest problem that you're going to see from all of these millions and millions, I think the number is 15 million people already. I think it'll be 18 to 20 million people by the time we get rid of this guy. And the biggest thing, that's bigger than New York State. I think it's close to 20 million people, that's my prediction, but I think it's already 15 million people. Black people, Hispanic people, Asian people, and unions. Unions are going to suffer. I mean, I'm all for everybody, I'm for the worker, but unions, they should endorse Trump because I'm closing on border. In February alone, nearly 1 million jobs held by native-born Americans disappeared by one. Think of that. You lost 1 million jobs. Black people, that's who lost the jobs. Hispanic people, that's who lost the jobs. That's why we just had a poll come out. Now, it doesn't sound great, but it is great relative. You know, a guy is stiff like Mitt Romney, I think he had 4% of the black vote. I had, as of this poll today, Marjorie, 28%. If that's the case, I'll ask some of our great Congress people, we have great ones, we're going to introduce in a second, but why don't we just call the election over because at 28%, and I hope that stays that way, but you know what? And I hope it goes up higher, it should be much higher. I honestly, it should be 100% of the black people should vote for Trump because I think more black people. I think more than any president ever in American country. Think of it, criminal justice reform. I took care of the black colleges and universities. They would come up to Washington after 3 years. They said, why do you guys keep coming back? One of them, I got friendly with some of them, really good people. They said every year we come back looking for money. They do a great job. Black colleges and universities have very little money. And then you look at Harvard and these maniacs, they have billions and billions of dollars. Very unfair. We're going to have to look into that whole situation. And at least did a very good job. And she destroyed that person, the big plagiarizer from Harvard. I think did she plagiarize every document she ever wrote? The only thing she had going for her was nice glasses, didn't like that look. No, at least did a fantastic job. We all know that she was amazing and it really revealed what they were all about. But I took care of the black colleges, universities, opportunities. Kim, is everybody out? Kim's I'm telling you. So, you know, when we win and people come on and many people, as soon as you win, I had calls from people that were so nasty to me, now they go, sure, we'd love to come over and make things, you know, always something of the best. I think you're fantastic, you know, people that were with for Sanctimonious, they were with, well, I'm not going to use that name, let's go on the same. People that were with the Saints, they were with Nixon. Now they're calling, sir, congratulations, I've been so busy, I haven't had time to make the call, but now that I'm freed up a little bit, would it be possible for me to come up to support? I said, I thought you were with the Saints. Oh, it's reports. Great comprehension, always had great comprehension, all over. I said, no, you were with them, let's just look it up. The great thing about, one of the only good things about the internet, you press the button and it gives you the whole history of something. But they're all calling me Jim, and they're all saying, sure, I'd love to I'll give you names. I'd love to reveal them right now, but I'll give you names that you wouldn't believe. We got to stop Trump. He's an insurrectionist. 2 weeks later, oh, I'd love to be part of the campaign. Now, 90% of them we won't take back, and it could be 100. But with your vote, we will pull out Bidenomics and we will reinstate Meganomics. You know, I have to explain to the audience, because you know, I think it went to hell. It's a Saturday afternoon, we have meetings. You know where I'm going later? I'm going to the UFC fights. You know what? It's the closest thing I can see that's really reflective of the election process that we have. The UFC. That may be a little tamer than the election business, but I'll be going to the UFC fights with some friends, and I look forward to that. Dana White has done a great job. I look forward to that. I hope he doesn't come for he's done a fantastic job. He likes it. No, he likes that because it's Easter. Nothing like this. country with tremendous potential, and if we turn that potential and use that potential, we can come back. A lot of people think we can't come back. It's too far down the line. It's not. If we don't win this election, it is. I don't think it can ever come back. It's never going to come back. It's too much. But we have tremendous people in the country, tremendous spirit. As I said, it's the greatest spirit I've ever seen. And I've done doing this my third time. I'm going to do it 3 times. And we will cancel Biden's work permits for illegals that protect American jobs for American work. We will lead the end Biden's war on American energy, and we will end this inflation catastrophe, and we will drill, baby, drill. You know, the fake news will say, oh, because for subject, you have to be very smart. And you got to be very smart. You know what it is? Called spot checking. You're thinking about something when you're talking about something else, pop, 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 and then you get back to there and they go, oh, shit. So I have a problem. Because we get so much television coverage, and look at the size. This never been rallies like this. You know, I had 100,000, 105,000 people attending. And we wanted a much bigger room than this. This is the biggest room you can get. We didn't want to have rain. We have a lot of people outside that wanted to get in, but every place is bad. The problem is, you got front row chairs. And I've got the most beautiful women in the world, in my opinion, from North Carolina. These 40 incredible women, and they come to so many. They're up to 117. I won't even tell you how many front row jokes I got to close to 200. And here's the problem. I feel I have an obligation to the super fans. So, Marjorie, I have to make different speeches all the time. You ever notice they're never really the same? And to do that, you have to be very smart, and you have to have a great imagination for putting the right stuff in. Now, a lot of politicians, I know a politician, he's a good politician. He's made the same exact speech, word for word, for, I would say, a good 10 years. He goes into a room, blah, 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 blah. He can't get himself in there. You know, people like that here, he's there. Too many, most of them. But we have to get a little action for these people. So we tell people some stories tonight because we have to do that. But they'll say, oh, he was wondering. He must be cognitively imbalanced. No, I'd like to see these guys do it. Let's do a little IQ test. Let's do an IQ. And by the way, I said it before, but officially, for the good of our nation, it is time for Joe Biden and myself to debate. We have to debate. I said that for another reason, because I saw the Washington Post today, the Washington Post, one terrible way. The good news is losing so much money that even a rich person isn't that stupid that they're going to keep it going. But the Washington Post, a real lightweight journalist, said, Biden wants to debate Trump. But Trump is not available, he doesn't want to do it. So officially to you, Washington Post, and you know the reporter I'm talking about, they say, Biden wants to debate me. What's the difference? I don't want to. No, just the opposite, as he knows. He's a very dishonest man. He's so bad for our country. I want to debate Biden because I think it's important for the American people to hear what's going on. So officially, I want to debate President Joe Biden. Anytime, anywhere, And it's no wonder that Joe Biden and his thugs are so desperate to stop us. They know that we are the only ones who can stop them. We're the only ones. There's nobody else. Nobody else. We're just stop people. We're going to make our country, we're going to make our country so powerful, so great. That's why they are weaponizing law enforcement for high-level election interference against Joe Biden's top and only political appointment, a guy named me. A guy named me. Joe Biden and the fascists that control him are the real threat to democracy. Remember that. I'm not the threat to democracy, I'm stopping the threat to democracy. As an example, you read about this. Can you believe this? Sometimes it's not good to be rich. I just posted a $91 million bond, 91 million, on a fake story, totally made up story. Think of it, 91 million. I could say things about what it would cost normally. 91 million. Based on false accusations made about me by a woman that I knew nothing about, didn't know, never heard of, I knew nothing about her. She wrote a book, she said things. And when I denied it, I said, it's so crazy, it's false. I got sued for defamation. That's what it says. And this is Democrat operators. These are all her lawyers, a big Democrat operators. The judge was a disaster. But Democrat operators funding and directing her, they gave her the money to pursue the case. They changed the law. New York is a very corrupt place. And this is killing New York because companies are leaving because they don't want to get caught in this. They changed the law that allowed women to go back like unlimited. And she went back and she said, yeah, mid-90s, maybe, I don't know. I had no idea. Nothing, she knew nothing. She went on Anderson Cooper. And she was saying all these wonderful things. And then there was a commercial break, and then she said horrible things. I wonder what happened there. But it was before a federal Democrat, Trump-deranged judge, his name is Lewis Kaplan, an angry man who screamed at my lawyer, screamed at her saying, we're going to essentially put you in jail because she was incensed that this could be happening. He treated me like a common criminal. He's a terrible person, a terrible judge, and he's a disgrace to what's happening in New York. Think of it. I just posted because we're appealing. And in order to appeal, I had to post a $91 million bond. Normally it would be, you would do that, and then later on you go through an appeal process, which could take a long time. This woman is not a believable person. The judge knows this, but the judge is, in my opinion, is a highly corrupt judge. You had to see the way he treated us in court. So I posted a $91 million bond, and the woman didn't even know when it happened. And she admitted on Anderson, she said, I think it was 6 years. This, can you believe this? 91 million. And then, additionally, before another wiped out judge, this guy had been reading about it in New York. Companies don't want to go to New York anymore. You watch the impact this has. Arthur and Gorin, I got fined, listen to this one, $355 million for having done absolutely nothing wrong. I did nothing wrong. Nothing wrong. And it was proven. He even claimed that magnificent Mar-a-Lago and Palm Beach is in a different stratosphere from every other place in terms of houses and values. And Mar-a-Lago is the biggest, the best in the country, maybe in the world. It's worth $18 million when he knows it's worth anywhere from 50 to 100 times that amount. But this was good for his false and fake decision. He said I was guilty before the trial started, before I knew anything about him. He says he's guilty. We're only going to have a trial in California. And this guy, Ed Gorin, did exactly what the fascist and racist Attorney General of New York State, Letitia James, I call her, who, by the way, is now being booed and heckled all over New York because they know it's a scam. And he did exactly what this racist, horrible human being told him to do. You know, she sued for $250 million, even though nobody. Then she went in later on after losing every point. She said, we won $350. He said, no, we'll give it. This is unbelievable. Over nothing. Over nothing. And the business community is up in arms. So they're going to leave New York over that and crime and everything. They're not looking at Trump. They only look at Trump. And just as an example, I borrowed money from the bank. I paid the bank back. It was never a problem. Never a problem. I didn't even want the money. The bank wanted me to have money because that's what they do. They loan money. A small amount, much smaller than the amount you're talking about. I borrowed it and paid it back. I paid it back early, actually. I paid it back early. I had to pay a penalty for paying it back early. I paid a penalty. I paid it back early. They didn't want the money. Anyway, the banker testified. The bankers. But the banker testified. No, the loan was perfect. Well, we don't know. He didn't even know what he was going to do. And this judge, he levels a fine for $350 million. $355 million on a loan that's a fraction of that size. Because he's a corrupt Democrat clubhouse judge. He wouldn't allow a jury. There was no jury. It was a statute that I was sued under that was never used before. It was a consumer fraud statute. Never ever used before. Did you know that? Never used. Only the first time. Where you're not allowed juries, you're not allowed anything. It was in the sole discretion of the judge, and this corrupt judge ruled that I have to pay $355 because you know what they're trying to do? They're trying to take us down. And it's not going to work. But this is all Cookie Joe Biden has directed lawfare and weaponization against his political opponents, and that includes really all of us. What's happening is just an incredible thing. Now, take a look at your own neighborhood. You have a woman named corrupt Fani Willis. You have a woman named Fani Willis. Now, even though I believe it's spelled F-A-N-I. To my way of thinking, that's Fanny. But once you begin the district attorney, I think she put a little emphasis on the U. So corrupt Fani Willis hired her lover, Nathan Wade, so they could fraudulently make money together. Let's make money, darling. Let's see, who can we go after? Well, if we go after somebody that nobody ever heard of, we can't make much. I got an idea. Let's do what Joe Biden and everybody else want. Let's go after Trump. And we did nothing wrong. Perfect phone call, other than we challenged the honesty of this election. This election was rigged. Let's go after John. I love you very much, darling, he said, even though he never did a case like this. He got almost $1 million. They targeted me to get the most dollars. And this guy with no experience at all. Think of it, they paid almost $1 million, then they traveled all over the world together. He's never met. Is anybody, I mean, it's something beautiful. It's a beautiful people. To me, it's a magnificent love story. Nothing like that. Watch it anymore. It's politically watch God with the Wind. And there's what were the greatest movies ever made? Well, God with the Wind is usually number 1 or 2 or 3. And then they have another list. You're not allowed to watch anymore. God with the Wind. You tell me, is our country screwed up? But think of it. They went on these magnificent cruises. Beautiful cruise lines. Beautiful, beautiful cruise lines. And they got him because he was paying a fortune for taking more vacations than I've ever seen anybody in history take. Has anybody ever? She may set a record for the most vacations taken in the history of the country. But with money made wrongfully prosecuting me and other innocent American patriots, we have a couple of them here. Right now, head of the Republican Party, an incredible guy. I mean, we have to him. He's a very good person. We have a certain gentleman in very high office who they went after too, but he beat that because everybody should beat that. And it's too bad a couple of people took a plea deal because they got off to nothing. But you know, now they want to renegotiate that plea deal. They said this whole thing was a scam. But think of it. So we have Fani and Rihanna. But then they got it. Because it's hundreds of thousands of dollars. And what did they do? They paid it back. She said, oh, man, I'm huge. Think of it. And they got me. They got me. I got it. I paid my lover back in cash. And now I, being a very good businessman, said, now she's really in trouble because now somebody's going to say, where did he get the cash? But they don't ask those questions, do they? But I think the judge is going to ask those questions. I think the judge is an honorable guy. And this whole thing should be dropped because many, many innocent people, their lives have been hurt. I've been, I sort of got used to it. But these people, they got indicted for their 70s and 80s. They got indicted, and they're great patriots. And they were protesting a corrupt election. They were protesting a corrupt election. Or at least in their opinion, it was a corrupt election. I have no doubt about it. But think of that. So now they have her, because now she's taking money because she was a part of the trip, and the trip cost a lot of money, and they went on so many of them. It was so romantic, a beautiful thing to watch. Nobody knew she was away for most of the time. And they went after me, but just think of it. So now she's in trouble because she's taking money that she just gave him. So she says she gave it back in cash, okay? It's a lie, it's a total lie. And if it isn't a lie, then she's got a much bigger problem, okay? Where'd she get the cash? So this whole witch hunt should be put out of its misery and dismissed immediately. This is a horrible thing that they've done. They wanted to go after a very highly respected United States Senator. And somebody used some common sense. I think somebody probably higher up said, you can't do that. A senator said, is everything being honest in Georgia? Are they having honest elections? Let's indict him for asking that question. They tried to go after a couple of people that you wouldn't even believe it. And their whole campaign plan is to attack me because they've got nothing else. That's all they have. And this is all coming out of Washington. I don't know if you know. I call him Lover Away, Lover Away. Lover Away spent days in the White House counsel's office. Do you know that, right? Do you know that? North Carolina. Spent days in the White House and days in the DOJ. This is all my thing. This is the thing. It's not a local state story. This is done in coordination with the White House. The DA in New York is done in coordination. They took their top person in the DOJ and put him in the Manhattan District Attorney's Office to prosecute a gentleman named Donald Trump. They had a man, Pomerantz, who was Hillary Clinton's lawyer, represented the Democrat Party. He left the law firm, big law firm, smart law firm, very Democratic, it's okay. He left the law firm to serve free of charge in the DA's office in Manhattan to prosecute Donald Trump. So he's a big deal, Pomerantz. And he left, think of this. He left the law firm representing Hillary Clinton and the DNC and he left the law firm to go in and prosecute, no salary, free of charge Donald Trump. And then they came in and they said, these charges are bullshit. And he quit in a huff. And he wrote a book about it before the case was even determined. He wrote a book. A totally dishonestly, nobody's ever seen. And even Alvin Bragg, the DA, said it's the worst thing. You're going to see the same thing. They want to prosecute Pomerantz. But this is all coming from the White House. Colangelo is the lawyer's name. And he comes from the White House. He's one of the top people in the White House. And they put him into the local Manhattan DA's office in order to prosecute Donald Trump. This is crooked Joe Biden. And Letitia James is totally controlled by Washington. Letitia James. She's controlled. She's controlled. Did you ever see the pictures of her campaigning? I will get Donald Trump. Just before she knows anything about it. She's applying to, she is working to become the Attorney General here. I will get Donald Trump. I'm going to get him. I think that's a fair prosecution. New York State has got to clean up its act. And by the way, Fulton County has to clean up its act.
That's right.
And inside sources say that the attacks on me will be violent. They say that it's violent. The attacks that Biden said. He said, you know what their whole plan was? It was just released the other day. It was leaked by one of the many people that probably thought it was. Their whole plan is to go after Trump in every way possible, especially criminally and legally. How would you like to have my life? Do you like that life? Darling, I go home to a woman for the first time. She never heard the word indictment. Neither did I. I got indicted so many times in the last 6 months. I got indicted more than the late great Al Capone. Did anyone ever hear of him? Alfonso. He was the meanest of them all. He was the gangster. If he had dinner with you and he didn't like you, you would be found dead the next morning. Your wife would not talk either because she was petrified. Now, this was Al Capone. I got indicted. Well, my parents are looking down at me right now. They're saying, oh, my son, he's such a good boy. Shit. They were saying, yes, he got, think of it. I got indicted more than Alphonse Capone, the meanest Scarface. Did anybody see the movie Scarface? He was not a nice man. Even Jim Jordan would be afraid of Scarface. Everybody was afraid of Scarface, but Scarface had a different kind of thing. They go after him like they go after me, I can tell you that. We can't let this happen. This has never happened in our country before. This happens in third world countries. This happens in banana republics. We can't let it happen here. It's going to start with fathers. I hope you're going to end the case. They're going to end the case. Don't get rid of her. Because this thing, and this affair was going on long before the case started, so the case is totally compromised. But we don't need to get rid of her and then put somebody else in there. It's unfair to all those people that got indicted. The list goes on and on, and they're good people too. They're American patriots. They were protesting a rigged election. And it should start right here. They should throw out that fake deal from Fulton County.
That's right.
What they should do, they should spend their time going over the votes in Fulton County. That's what they should do.
Woo!
But the attacks will come through various places and through the Justice Department, FBI, even if they've no evidence whatsoever, because they don't care what happens after the election. They only care what happens before, because they want to try and damage me. But here's what's happened. I'm able to explain the situation. And if I was guilty of something, you'd know it. And the polls will all say he's not guilty as a witch hunt. It is. I've gone through this witch hunt with Russia. Ukraine. I've gone through this witch hunt for so long. 51 intelligence agents talking about the laptop from hell. They said it was from Russia, but they knew it wasn't from Russia. You know that. And many other things, the Pfizer fake signatures. This is what we're dealing with. We have a very corrupt country. I fired Kobe. I fired a lot of bad people. But I didn't know a man's sleepy, but I'm sleepy. I was getting rid of the rest of them. I know who Moses and God. With no way, they had no reason to do so. They violated my Fourth Amendment constitutional rights. They can't raid your house. They're not allowed to do it. They raided it. But a thing like this has never, ever happened before. Joe Biden is out of control, but really the people out of control are the people that surround him. I still have Merrick Garland. I really thought, I was thinking about Merrick Garland because I came in and I put somebody else in there. And I was thinking about him, and he's liberal, but I thought he'd be a high-quality person. But the other day he said he doesn't want to have any voter ID. He doesn't have voter ID. And he said it with a straight face, because he thinks voter ID is discriminatory. He said this, you need voter ID, you need identification for almost everything you do. You know, in the Democrat National Convention, the last one, you had cards. Identification cards that were bigger than a person's chest, a normal person, not a very big person, but a normal person. It had pictures from different angles. It had everything. It had everything. Probably didn't have their social security number, which most about it. And they had identification. It was voter identification. In that case, it was party identification. You had identification cards all over people. But when it comes to vote, the most important thing to do is vote. When it comes to vote, no voter ID. I don't think we're going to stand for that. But Merrick Garland said that. And he said it with a straight face. We don't want voter ID. Because because that's discriminatory. No, they don't want voter ID because if you have voter ID, it's much harder to
That's
see.
right.
Biden is a weak, angry, flailing president. He's flailing and failing when you think of it. He's a flailing president and he's a failing president. Hoping that something sticks because they have nothing to campaign on. They have absolutely nothing. His administration has been a complete and total failure. Whether it's Afghanistan, where we lost 13 soldiers, 38 wounded horrifically with the arms, $85 billion worth of equipment left behind, and hundreds of millions of dollars of harm. We still have probably, could be 1,000 American hostages over there. Nobody knows. But he should be attacking inflation, or what do you think of it? Inflation wouldn't have happened. The attack on Israel wouldn't have happened. The attack on Ukraine with Russia, Ukraine would have never happened. Everything Joe Biden touches turns to shit. I tried finding a different word, but there are some words that cannot be duplicated. Everything he touches, all of this persecution is only happening because I am running for president and leading big in all of the polls. In the big new vocal poll, we're leading Biden by 8 points here in Georgia. We're leading Biden all over the country with numbers that the Democrats have never seen before. Nationwide, in all the swing states, we have the largest leads ever against crooked Joe Biden that we've ever had. And we're just getting started. Look, and it's only going to get worse for him because he can't go against this radical left crazy movement. The radical left Democrats rigged the presidential election in 2020, and we're not going to allow them to rig the presidential election in 2024. Every time the radical left Democrats, Marxists, communists, and fascists indict me, I consider it a great badge of honor because I am being indicted for you. Once again, our enemies want to take away my freedom because I will never let them take away your freedom. They want to silence me because I will never let them silence you, and in the end, they are not after me, they're after you. I'm just standing in their way. We're delighted to be joined today by an outstanding American and patriot who just announced that he is running for Congress in Georgia's 3rd Congressional District. Yeah. And I have to tell you, he's worked for me since 2016. He's unbelievable. And he's always wanted to be a congressman. He wanted to grow up like some of his heroes in this room. We've got a lot of great Congress people in this room. He's a proud Georgian, Fayette County native. And he's been a loyal friend to the Republican Party, to me and everybody. He's one of the most capable people you'll ever see. And I'd like to invite, where are you? Brian Jeff, where are you? Oh, there he is. Brian Jeff, he's tough. He's smart, he's conservative, he's a fighter. He's a fighter and he's a backup man. Say hello, Brian. Come on.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I am both humbled and honored to earn your endorsement. And as one of your longest-serving aides, I know better than most that these followed speeches are best kept short and sweet. After all, we're here tonight to celebrate the now official Republican nominee for president. diverse agenda that everyone in this room has propelled to enable President Trump to make our country great again. Earlier today, we went through some of your record-setting accomplishments. Because the cameras are now on, I thought it best to go through just one more time. Y'all can enlighten me. Which president delivered the most secure border in American history? Which president gave us the best economy in American history? In 2020, which president earned the most votes in American history? And just earlier this year, who now holds the record for the most votes in Iowa caucus, New Hampshire primary, and Super Tuesday yesterday? Ladies and gentlemen, and Georgia voters, I challenge each and every one of us. Let's get out of November and let's set another record. Let's reelect the greatest president and political athlete of all time, Donald J. Trump.
So he's a great gentleman. He's been down. He's a great congressman and whatever he does after that. But he's wanted this for a long time, and he really sacrificed it because he wanted to stay with the campaign. He was with me right from the beginning, and he's as good as you get. So I hope we're going to go and vote for him, and he's going to be there for a long time. And he loves your state, and he loves our country. So thank you very much. We run the things everywhere. So, a person who really has, thank you very much, a person who's got tremendous courage, and some people go after her because they're concerned about her. She's very popular, actually. They know that, but a lot of people don't. But she is a woman that showed herself the other night when the president was so disrespectful to so many millions and millions and millions of people. She was willing to shut out. Sometimes you would say that's not nice, but in this case it was very well needed because we have to shape this country up. This country has to come back. It's never going to come back unless we have people like Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Georgia, we know what we're going to do in 2024. We're going to re-elect our favorite president, the greatest president in United States history, Donald J. Trump.
In addition, when I spoke with Jim Jordan, I said, Jim, I'd like to invite this gentleman up because you don't hear as much about him, but he is a hero and he's one of yours. And what he's doing in Congress now for exposing horrible untruths and people who really say this about all of us. And I just think he's doing such an incredible job. I said, why do you think, Jim? He said, you got to bring him up. Barry Loudermilk. Barry, come on.
Not just the American people. Kevin McCarthy asked me to chair a special committee to investigate what really happened on January 6th. So Kevin, I'll do it under one circumstance, that I just go to the truth. Whatever it is, we'll find the truth, and we'll expose it to the American people, and let the American people decide what really happened. It's not easy. My dad, a World War II veteran, combat veteran, told me, he said, doing what is right isn't easy, sometimes it's not popular, but it's always the right thing to do. And people will always try to stop you from doing what's right. I've been shot at, I've been run over, I have been called traitor to this country, and I've been lied about. But we're not going to stop until you have the truth. God bless you.
Also with us are real patriots, heroes. I can bring every one of them up, but they wouldn't want to do it because they want to get back to some other things. But you have great people in this state. Mike Collins, representative. Andrew Clyde. Great job, Andrew. He was a stop. A man who's, people don't know he's a great wrestler, one of the best ever in the country. A lot of people don't know that. I got to know him for about 7 years. He's sitting in my office for 7 years of action. I said, Jim, did you ever wrestle? Then I checked his record. This guy was a champion in college for 3 years. He was undefeated in high school. I heard he was undefeated. Never defeated. Think of it. I know a lot about sports. To go as a freshman and to beat seniors is almost impossible. He was undefeated for 4 years. He was like 100 and something. Oh, then he went to a great college where he wrestled and was the NCAA champion and everything else. And people don't know that about him. They have to know that about Jimmy Jordan. Yeah! He's just like he was in wrestling. There's a lot of similarities. You have a great father, fellas, and you guys are doing a great job. Also, champion, top champion wrestlers. I don't know, they're a hell of a lot bigger than you too, Jim. I don't know. But I asked, and your boy asked, I said, well, he's an old American. I said, are you as good as your father? He said, no, not as good as my father. That's pretty good. You're an old American. And I said, your father goes, see, I wouldn't have said that. I was better. It's a great family. And to Polly and everybody, thank you very much. Great job on what you've done. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you for being here, folks. A friend of mine, somebody who's really going places, he already has, but he's really gone. His father was a fantastic man, so respected. And he is right now the Lieutenant Governor of your state, and he is with us all the way, Bert Jones. Please stand by This is a tough cookie. That's a great family. Thank you. What a great family. You didn't see crowds like this with all the years. This is incredible, isn't it, right? Never happened before. You know, they don't want to talk about it like this. There's never been a movement like this ever. Where you come down, look, Biden's here today, he probably has 100 people, legit people, I'd say 30. But they work hard. That's where he made the statement about, apologizing for using the word illegal. But he had a very small crowd. But every place we go, we never have empty seats. We have lots of people standing outside, sometimes in the rain and the cold. There's never been anything like it. And this is about making America great. So it's a friend of mine and somebody that should have been senator, and he was a really great senator, but he should have been senator, and bad things happened. David Perdue. Another friend of mine, he headed up the hearings in Congress when he was going after Mueller. Remember that? You hear his voice? Is it true that you this and that you that? He's like central casting. Just a great guy. What he did in Congress was amazing. Jim and everybody else will testify to that. And he's loved by the people in Georgia, and I assume he's going to be doing something because he's still a young man. Doug Collins. Thank you. Thank you. You gotta watch those hearings. You gotta watch the way he will. Mueller, you remember that? Is it true that you did this? Is it true that you did that? And the guy just died. Please let me go home. Remember that, Doug? You'll never forget that. I have that on the highlight reels, by the way. Georgia Agricultural Commission, the Agriculture Commissioner, Tyler Harper. Good job. Labor Commissioner Bruce Thompson. Bruce, thank you. Good job. An incredible senator, I have to tell you, from day one, he was on the front lines, and he is a popular guy. People love him because he fights for justice. He got what was happening in the state very early on, in Berkeley State, very early on. Brandon Beach, what a great job. What a job. Thank you. And so many other politicians and representatives and people that love Georgia, so many that if I ever announced it would never get off. But I just want to thank you all for being here. We have some great people. All the great representatives that have worked so hard. From the very first day that we take back the White House from Cook and Joe Biden, I believe we're going to have the 4 greatest years in the history of our country. I believe that. Right. We will bring this country back together through success. The word is success. He said it's revenge. He said, I'm not for revenge. I'm not for revenge. My revenge will be success. Before I even arrive at the Oval Office shortly after we win the presidency, I will have the horrible war between Russia and Ukraine settled, and we will restore peace through strength. I will pass the Trump Reciprocal Trade Act. Now, what that means is very simple. We get all these bad deals. We changed a lot of them, most of them, but still plenty of them out there. A lot of unfair deals. If China or any other country makes us pay a tariff or tax, let's say 100 or 200%, we will make them pay a reciprocal tariff of 100 or 200%. It's called you screw us and we screw you. And as tariffs on foreign countries go up, taxes on American workers and families will come down. You know, we gave you the largest tax reduction in the history of our country. We're always still through that, and yet we took in more revenue than ever before. And as I said, for many years, I will always protect Medicare and Social Security, which others are not able to do. Like, we're not going to have it. It's Joe Biden who's destroying them, and he is doing it with a migrant invasion. This migrant invasion is much more dangerous than you think in so many other ways. It's going to have a huge impact on rights that you're entitled to, and that includes Social Security and Medicare. We will restore law and order to our country. I am going to identify all police officers and law enforcement officials throughout the United States to protect them from being destroyed by the radical left and taking strong actions on crime. Thank you, South. We are going to rebuild our cities into beacons of hope, safety, and beauty better than they have ever been before. We will take over the horribly run capital of the United States of America, Washington, D.C. Clean it up, renovate it, rebuild our capital cities so that it is no longer a nightmare of murder and crime, but rather it will become the most beautiful capital anywhere in the world. People from Georgia go down to Washington now, they get shot. Horrible things that happen. There used to be graffiti all over the place, beautiful columns built 200 years ago, 100 years ago. Gorgeous colleges, they had to ever build them, how did they move them? They didn't have the equipment to move them, they moved them through force as well. They got them there through force, but when you look at these massive structures, you say, how did they ever do that? They didn't have Caterpillar tractors, they didn't have anything, they had their hands and their muscles, and they got it done, and now I see graffiti on it. Not gonna happen. We're gonna take care of our capital. On day one, I will sign a new executive order to cut federal funding for any school at all pushing critical race theory, transgender, and I will not not give 1 penny to any school that is a vaccine mandate or a mask mandate. And I will keep men out of women's sports. And I will fully protect and uphold our great and very important under siege Second Amendment. We will protect innocent lives and we will restore free speech and I will secure our elections. We will secure our elections. We are going to be one day voting with paper ballots and voter ID. Very simple. But until then, Republicans must go out and we have to swamp them. We have to go out and we have to get so many votes. We want this to be a landslide. That way it's too big, too big. We want that too big. If you took the 10 worst presidents in the history of the United States and added them up, they would not have done near the destruction to our country as Joe Biden and the Biden administration have done. So if you want to save America, then go vote. The Georgia primary is this Tuesday, March 12th, and join the state that puts us, look, if we win Georgia, we win the election. So get everybody you know and let's send President Joe Biden packing. Let's send him out. So in conclusion, together we're taking on some of the most menacing forces and vicious opponents our people have ever seen. We've never seen anything like it before. But no matter how hateful and corrupt the communist and criminals that we're fighting against are, you must never forget this nation does not belong to them. This nation belongs to you. This is your home. This is your heritage. And our American liberty is your God-given right. From Atlanta to Augusta, from Savannah to Columbus, beautiful Columbus. We just left Columbus and it's what a place. And from Athens to right here in Rome, we inherit the legacy of red blooded American patriots who gave their blood, sweat, and tears to defend our country and defend our freedom. We stand on the shoulders of American heroes who crossed the ocean, sailed the continent, came the wilderness, laid down the railroads, raised up the skyscrapers, won 2 world wars, defeated fascism and communism, and made America into the single greatest nation in the history of the world. But now, we are a nation in decline. We are a failing nation. We are a nation that is the highest inflation in 50 years, where banks are collapsing and interest rates are skyrocketing. Likewise, we are a nation where energy costs have reached the highest levels in our history. We are no longer energy independent or energy dominant as we were just a few short years ago. We are a nation that is begging Venezuela and others for oil. Please, please, please help us, Joe Biden says. Yet we have more liquid gold under our feet than any other nation anywhere in the world. We are a nation that just recently heard that Saudi Arabia and Russia will be reducing their oil production, while at the same time substantially increasing the price. And we met that threat by announcing that we will no longer be drilling for oil in large areas of Alaska and elsewhere on our precious land. We are a nation that is consumed by the radical left Green New Deal, yet everyone knows that the Green New scam is fake and will lead to our destruction. We are a nation whose leaders are demanding all electric cars, despite the fact that they don't go far, cost too much, and whose batteries are produced in China, where materials are only available in China, when an unlimited amount of gasoline is available inexpensively in the United States, but is not available in China. And now we are a nation that wants to make our revered and very powerful army tanks the best anywhere in the world, all electric, so that despite the fact that they also are not able to go far, fewer pollutants will be released into the air as we blast our way through enemy territory in an environmentally friendly way. And they also want to make our fighter jets with a green stamp of energy savings. Though losing 15% efficiency but allowing us to keep our enemy's atmosphere clean of emissions as we viciously and unceremoniously attack them at levels that they have never seen before. Who are these people that would do this to us? Who are these people who would destroy our country? Who are these people who want our country to be destroyed? We are a nation that ended oil exploration and production in the U.S. just as the price of oil reached an all-time high. What other country would do such a foolish thing? What other country would be so self-respecting? Can we be energy independent, even dominant again? Yes, oh yes, and quickly, says President Trump. Yes, oh yes. We are a nation that surrendered in Afghanistan, leaving dead soldiers, American citizens, and $85 billion worth of the finest military equipment in the world behind.